No. It's in the election room.
Jesus.
Well, why don't we just pledge allegiance
Let's
anyway?
pledge to Mr. G.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You actually need a flag because they do that a lot at the political rallies.
This is thoughtful council. This is thoughtful council.
Yeah, we should have a little.
Hey, Annabelle, how are you?
Yes, we're going to say
No mic tonight. Okay, we are here with our agenda and various things to do. The first thing we would like to do is notice that we're not having, thank you, an executive session tonight. We postponed that for reasons of, turns out we didn't need to do it. My mistake in calling for that, and those things happen. But what we do have is an announcement that I would like to make, and that'll be followed up by the person who's involved in the announcement. Our town accountant for the past 21 years is announcing, or has announced his, or will announce in a couple of minutes, his retirement from the town of Southampton. The effective date of that will be March 31st of this year, of 2012, which is coming up in about 3 weeks. And that said, I'm certainly going to turn the microphone over to Mr. Kielsen, but certainly on behalf of the Select Board and the town, we will be very sorry for this. However, we also understand that there are some excellent reasons for this too, which go over and above sometimes debits and credits, if I may say that.
You start another family?
That's what it sounds like.
I said something wrong?
No, not at all. But again, it's with great regret, but also with a great sense of pleasure that I think we have you here. And as he will tell you, he certainly agreed to stay on to help us find someone, a replacement, and to help us train someone as well. With that, David, if you wouldn't mind, I know you'd asked for some time to talk a little bit about this. We welcome you to this, and
Should he have a microphone?
Hello.
yeah, can you hear him, Tim? Does he need a microphone?
Here, I can just turn mine around.
No, that's for the, will that work?
Here. There.
You need to hear you.
Microphone. We need to be able to
Very
hear
sensitive,
you
you don't have to-
electronically.
Yeah.
We're on the television, so.
So exciting.
Okay,
I'm glad I'm not the only one. Thank you very much.
David Kielsen, Town Accountant. The microphone and floor are yours.
Well, I mean, it just says what it is. And it's really been a wonderful experience to be involved in Southampton for so many years and to see progress being made in so many different ways and to feel as though I've had, in some degree, some sense in having to do with some of the things that have been changed. It's, I won't disclose my age, but Jess could do that if he wants to.
Your secret is safe with me. Safe to say that we're both senior citizens. We're card-carrying members of the AARP.
Ah, if not more so. And, you know, the time does come when it's just important to pay attention to how you're doing at a certain period of time in your life and what you think the future holds, and it just, this is the time that seems appropriate for me to, as it says in there, to just feel that I need some open time, you know, it's been, believe it or not, the job has become more complicated and more time consuming. And as you know, I'm also on the Chesterfield Select Board, and so it's a combination of those two towns, even though Southampton is much larger than Chesterfield. But I'd like to spend a little more time with my dear wife and family, and to just have some freedom to do expand on some fun things that I'm doing right now, and maybe even more so, and still, you know, feel as though I've made a contribution, and I'm very pleased that I have spent the time this way with the town. So, just as Jess says, I'm retiring. I had planned to retire and announce it for June 30th to give the town plenty of time to deal with it. And it turns out that some new legislation has come through that goes into effect on April 2nd that claims that requires that if I retire after April 2nd, and the new law comes into effect, which says that you separate yourself from every single governmental entity that you're involved with, and if you want to come back and do some kind of governmental service, you have to wait 1 full year before you do it. And this just came out because of some of the Saul DeMazy stuff at the eastern part of the state that has caused there to be a lot of commotion, not just that example, but a few other things that have happened as well that has gotten the legislature and the governor upset. And I don't know how long ago this new designation happened, but probably a few months ago, and nobody really knows much about that. But I met with the New Hampshire County Retirement System to understand how that works, that's when I was introduced to this new information, and so since I didn't want it to be really an abrupt thing here as well as Chesterfield, I decided that I would have to move my anticipated date from June 30th back to March 31st to be just below that April 2nd deadline, where these other restrictions no longer would not exist. So that means that now I have, even though I will officially retire on March 31st, I will have I want to help in any way I can, and so it is permissible for the select board to reappoint me the day after.
Welcome back.
Silly little thing, right?
I was just getting teary-eyed.
I knew there was a loophole.
He's coming back. I'm really happy.
Well, it's the day after the 2nd, I think. Maybe so it has to be April 3rd.
I didn't want to think that I'd seen the last of you.
So that's why I'm saying that it might take. First of all, I don't want the town to be without a town accountant for any more than a day or two. From my own perspective, well, for the town more than for myself, because we don't need to have gaps, and that my guess is that. Although it's not easy to find town accountants because there aren't a lot of them around. I mean, somehow, as I've observed over the years, regardless of what college you may attend, virtually none have accounting programs that are directed towards governmental accounting. And governmental accounting is different from everything else. And so you have to learn it. Even if you're a CPA, you may have no knowledge of it. I mean, in my case, it's unusual because way back, those 20 some odd years, probably maybe 25 years ago, any time before that, governmental entities did not have to be audited. And it started back around then that, okay, now you got to go out and have an independent audit, and the small accounting firm that I was in actually started to specialize in that area. And so by the time I left there and came to Massachusetts, it was an absolute need. And even though I thought I was retiring then, that lasted a few hours, and then I got sucked into starting to play with my own town and several other towns actually. So that's the history of it, and as I said, I would hope that a process would start. I mean, you could actually start now, even though I'm going to be here officially till March 31st, in now maybe setting up some group or whomever that would attempt to attract and interview potential candidates for the position. And I'd be glad to sit in on those interviews at any point that you want me to. I'd be glad to do that. And in the meantime, I would continue on as if I hadn't stopped. And then at some point, whenever it happens to be, and maybe it'll be in a month, when somebody is officially appointed, then I guess I would stop officially working, but continue to work with the person to. I mean, it's a whole new thing to learn. I mean, even if you've been to another town, each town is different. So it's both of those things that a person has to absorb. And you know, I'm encouraged that there will be someone that will step forward that might be willing to enjoy doing that.
It's very nice of you to do that. Really, it is very, very nice.
Well, it's my pleasure to do that. So, I guess that's it. You can ask anything you want.
Mr. Blanchard already asked if your plans included starting another family, but
I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah, you know.
now, there are all sorts of ways to spend time, as we know, doing things that are...
Oh, you mean this is a family as well. That's what you mean.
That's what you mean.
Now I get it. Okay.
All right, well, we certainly thank you for it. And a lot of things people don't know about David. He used to be a marathon runner. Many other things that he's done in his life. All sorts of interesting things.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, well, I know you need to get up
Miss him
to
here.
Chesterfield, too.
I think you're making a good move, because you only go this way once. You can't tell when the big guy upstairs, or wherever he is going to decide he wants you. Really, really.
That's quality of life. You know, I mean, that's really, age doesn't matter. It's quality of life. You know, what's right and appropriate in a person's life, and you have the opportunity to take advantage of it, is great. You know, or it can be.
Yeah. That's good. We really appreciate the service you gave us, because I have never, in my entire time here, heard a bad word about you. And that's incredible. That
You're
really
the only
truly
one.
is. No, it really is. It's amazing.
Wow.
Turn that thing off.
Well, we need to digest
There's no escape. We're able to look back on this 100 years from now. Who is Mr. Kielsen?
That's right.
Yeah.
Mr. Kielsen was my father, actually. He's passed away. Good guy.
Are you gonna go someplace warm?
I'm sorry?
Are you gonna go someplace warm?
Chesterfield.
No, I have no, I'm not that kind of person. I enjoy the Four Seasons, and I don't ever want to give that up. And I'm an avid cross-country skier, and so I love the winter months, and didn't like this year so much. Yeah, so I enjoy every change of season. I don't enjoy going, I think I was down to Florida once for some, I can't remember what the reason was. I didn't like it. I mean, everyone has their own, I mean, people love to go down to, not only to Florida, but to the warmer climates, on vacation and stuff like that, or even to live, of course, or to retire, but.
So you're gonna go to Alaska for
No,
vacation maybe?
no, I'm not that far off in that direction.
Yeah, that would be something to see.
It would be.
Good.
All right.
Well,
We
keep
need to get up
keep
and
us
check.
posted.
Okay, well, absolutely. And I'll be interacting with Jess all the time, and or anyone else that wants to, and we'll play it out.
Okay. Great.
Well, a page in the book has turned.
Sure.
Oop.
See what happens.
You'll be fine.
Good.
Thank you, sir.
All right, let's,
Let's see, should I have a CC to Eileen, because it's also the town clerk's responsibility to get that, and I think to contact the retirement system that she has it. Because, I mean, I've already signed papers there that my wife and I have that have made it official with them, so they know everything that's going on.
the state
But
level.
they're supposed to, they need to, it's supposed to go into effect on the 31st, but not if the towns haven't disclosed or to them that they have received that information.
so we'll certainly need to follow up. So have you given that to Eileen yet, or?
I haven't. I have it with me, but I can do it tomorrow, or I can give it to you. Either
If you
way.
give it to me,
Yeah.
Reggie. Eileen she may even be in the building. Yeah. she's- Okay.
Exactly.
I'll pass it on to her. Okay.
And she, I think, I don't believe that anyone in Southampton knows about this except for Jess. For today, so.
As of now, it's open. Okay, well,
Thank you, sir.
thank you
Thank
again.
you. It's great
And
working
we'll
with
see you
you.
back here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bigger minute, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, well, we have some work to do about this, as many other things. And while we're here, we're doing, the next thing is the bill warrant.
Just don't tell Joyce, please.
Okay, we won't. It'll be our little secret across the airwaves.
I know nothing.
I know nothing, all right. Hogan's Heroes. Right?
Huh?
Hogan's Heroes. We have a bill warrant W12-36 in the amount of $37,198.18.
So move to pay?
Second?
In favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll do that. Next thing, we have an invoice with Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, again, just for people. We are the funnel, the pathway through which these payments pass. These are work that Pioneer
Thank you,
Valley
sir.
representing.
Bye.
Thank you, David. Passes through us, grants. And this town owner agreement, the first one, number 13, is in the amount of $12,580.55.
So move to pay?
Second?
Okay, do we have those in favor?
All right.
Okay.
This is the bill warrant.
362012, and we have an owner agreement in the same situation for $3,000 even. Is this it? Yes, it is. City-town owner agreement, what happens here is this is under that rural rehabilitation grant program, and papers come and go that we need to approve. In this case, this one happens to be an agreement that permits ownership of the property. Does that sound about right? Consideration, that's right, the Community Development Fund program. So the person would own this within the constraints of that program.
We're the administrator for like 5 towns.
Right,
That's where we're
exactly,
doing
yes.
this.
So we have a lot of stuff that
It's
just comes
not our money,
through.
it's not money coming out of our pocket.
Correct. So you all would need to authorize.
Motion
this.
to pay.
Second?
In favor?
Aye.
Okay, similarly, we have, what?
Signatures on that?
That's-
Is it just one, just
the
yours?
one. Yep.
Just yours, okay.
On that one. Now, get your pen ready because we also have another one here is an invoice, $2,685.50. And Reggie, I don't see a place to sign this one. But here's one. Yeah. It's interesting, there's no second page that has a signature. This one does here, the one for $9,852.94. Yeah. So what we could do is just sign it up here, signed, and as soon as someone makes a motion to approve
Motion to
it.
approve.
Second?
In favor?
Aye.
Okay. And then, well, it's not in the signature line, there's no signature line. So we have the next one here, which is similar to invoice number 14, as I mentioned, $9,852.94.
Motion to approve.
Second?
In favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving on, we have this. Okay. This is the cover letter for that. We have, town agreements, housing needs, no. Now we're down to review and sign annual town caucus warrant. Gosh, your names are here too. Greetings in the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. You are hereby directed to notify and warn the inhabitants, non-advisable, of the town of Southampton qualified to vote in elections and town affairs to meet at the new Town Hall, 210 College Highway in said Southampton at 7:00 p.m. on Thursday, March 29th, 2012, for the following purposes: to elect a chairman to serve at the caucus, to elect a clerk to record the minutes of the caucus, and to nominate candidates for election at the annual town election Monday, May 7th, 2012, for the following offices. And then there are about 20 offices here.
I'm gonna read some of them off.
Well, what's your call on that?
No. We know what they are.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Okay, polls will remain open until 9:00 p.m. for this caucus. Okay, so we have a motion to
New town
approve.
clerk.
She's running again.
2 selectmen?
Yeah, there will be 2 selectmen up for this who can be nominated at this caucus, or more than 2 can be nominated for the election.
And we know who's not running this time? There's
Well,
2
we can't
openings?
say it now, though. This is TV.
Okay.
So we have a motion to approve
Yes.
the warrant for the caucus. Do we have a second?
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
This needs to be a true copy by constable.
I'll give that to the chief once you guys sign.
Okay, moving down here, we did not think this was going to be a long meeting, and that seems to be borne out. Our next select board meeting is on March 13th, which is all executive session. The 20th, and those are union negotiations. 20th and 27th are open meetings. And then we have the presidential primary, which is today, obviously closes in 1 hour, 8 o'clock. And that is just about it, with the exception of I do want to keep the board aware of the fact that we do need to be moving on our succession planning and the definition of the roles and responsibilities of the town administrator and the assistant, if that's what folks want to do. And one way we could do this would be to send a letter from this office over to the Personnel Policies and Procedures Board requesting them to rank, to scale the jobs. What do they call that when they scale it? Is
They score them.
score them, that's right, scoring the positions. And that obviously would take into account some research into, okay, what really is the job, and are the two jobs, one meaning the town administrator and the other meaning the assistant, because, and the amount of time necessary for each, from a budgeting perspective and from an employee development perspective as well.
Would it make sense to get some job descriptions from some similar towns?
It would, but my understanding is that the PQB wants to, or thinks that that's their task at this point, so is to...
Oh, okay.
I'd be happy to provide that, though.
Is there any way we can expedite this to get some interviews going before we get new officers and that sort of thing? New select board members?
I think we should include that question in the letter to the PQB, saying, is there anything that we can do, given that we have a lot of things coming up that are frankly taxing, our current situation, that we sure do need to make sure that we have enough folks in line, who can put in the hours, who have the hours available, and we can budget the hours too. So I would suggest we include that. Is there any way that they can expedite this situation and/or grant us the authority to go ahead and post?
To my understanding, if we're going to interview, which I think we're gonna, that all we need is one interview, one date, and that sort of thing. We don't have to go completely crazy sending out, how do I say this, advertisements for the interview throughout the USA. You just, do it around here and that sort of thing. We can contact legal. But I think it's very, very important that we get this done as quickly as possible to get a town administrator in here and get this thing moving.
When do the next new, when are the elections, so that when does the new
May 7th.
board come on?
May 7th. They come on May 8th. The closest meeting to that. They
So
come in and
before-
see Eileen on May 8th, once they've been elected, to get sworn in and
Okay.
get their yellow wallet cards. And then the very first meeting after that, they are in attendance and fully
So we
validated.
basically have about 2 months, a little more than
Right.
2 months, if we're as a board going to make
Correct.
that decision, which would,
That would be nice if we could do that as a
yeah.
board. It would be very, very nice.
True. So, I know you're busier than a little dog in a big yard.
That's okay.
Humor. It's close, huh? So, could we get something out, then I'd be happy to sign it on behalf of the board if you'll authorize me to do that.
Yes. You going to
Yes,
make a
no?
motion?
I can't, you have to.
I'll move that you are going to get a
Authorization.
authorization to the,
Sign a letter.
go ahead, say what you
Second.
said.
Okay, so the motion has been made and seconded to authorize me to sign a letter to the P-cubed-B
Yes.
indicating that we are looking to move forward with all due haste and speed regarding the appointment of a more permanent town administrator, and we do need to get that and a possible assistant and get that underway as soon as possible. And can they give us any guidance with respect to the posting requirements?
I made the motion.
Any
He
discussion?
seconded. Any further discussion? No. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So I can sign that tomorrow.
Give me another day. Give me Thursday.
I'm in Boston.
Can I send it to you?
No, I don't leave till 10 o'clock. So,
Okay.
yeah, in the morning.
May.
Okay, that actually is it.
Did we have open time for the public?
We are about to right now. That's the only other thing. Open time for the public.
You can tell us about your dog.
No, for once. Well, one of the things, I was sitting here listening to this
David
gentleman.
Keelson?
You know, how many people do we have that have 20, 30 years? Ed Colley will probably be leaving soon. This gentleman's leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And you just walk out the door. In the old days, you walk out the door, at least you had a watch. Somebody gave you a watch or, you know, some kind of commemorative thing, which is sad. It seems to have been lost somewhere in the shuffle. Right? People spend 35, 40 years with companies now. Open the door and they're gone.
Yeah.
You know, this gentleman probably ushered in a lot of good ideas. Right?
Wow.
Yeah,
He was really, really good to the town.
yeah.
He was excellent.
I'm not saying go watch him, but, you know, something.
It's something.
Yeah.
We have our ways.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right.
Could I make a motion to, for the open public, are you done, sir? I'm sorry.
Huh?
Are you done? I didn't mean to interrupt you, I apologize for
Get
that.
myself in trouble.
Okay. In regard to Mr. Gilson, may I make a motion that the town, paid out of town funds, that we buy him a plaque? And just in behalf of the town, we thank you very much for your services, blah, blah, blah. And that will be given to him upon his retirement. Of course, we can take it back when we reappoint him. But I think that would be very, very becoming that we give him a plaque because he's been here an awful long time and he's done an awful lot of positive things in the community.
I second.
I think it applies to a lot of people who have been working here. You know, Ed Colley, you know, whether you agree with him or not, he's come up with all kinds of innovation that saved this town a lot of money and put probably a lot of his own time into it.
Yeah.
And he's going to be leaving probably within a year.
Yes.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded to fund a plaque, a retirement plaque honoring Mr. Keelson's 21 years of service with the town. Any further discussion?
I think it's a great idea.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yeah, just for the record here, this is the number of years of service of various people. I won't give their names, but 39, 34, 22, 26, 19, 31, 25, 31, 28. I'm reading off the highest ones.
Yeah.
19th, 39, Water Superintendent 34, 26, 31, 25, 31, 28, 34, 39, that's a repeat. So that's we don't have much turnover in some of these jobs in the town, absolutely.
Very loyal people, loyal workers.
And the funny thing is, people say that well, he's irreplaceable. Right? It's not true.
Nobody is.
No. I worked with a gentleman in a radio shop in the phone company. Super person. I don't think that man ever said a curse word in his life. And he was in the Second World War, right? He dropped dead right there. Guess who replaced him the next day? You're looking at it. I didn't know a tenth of what he knew. I had a commercial radio license, but that's all. Irreplaceable. And that was the kind of it was actually a crude awakening. I mean, he's gone. This morning he's not here, and I'm going to take his place. Right? And that applies to a lot of people.
Yeah.
All righty. It does. Well, thank you very much.
Motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Second?
In favor? Aye, we're done. Thank you, sir.
Gosh, thank you.
Thank you, Tim.